Margie from Margie's It's No Secret, and today we're going to make cranberry, jellied cranberry, not whole cranberry. So here I'm just washing and rinsing 24 ounces, which probably is 2 bags of cranberries. Those are really pretty cranberries. So I'm going to put in 2 cups of granulated sugar. You always start with the sugar and you add your liquid. And I have a half a cup of liquid. I'm using 1/4 of a cup of water. And then I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of juice. Now you can use all juice. You can use all water. That's up to you. It's just regular orange juice. So I have it on a pretty high flame. You want to cook the cranberry pretty quickly. And here I've already got the sugar melted as much as I really can get it. It's already started to simmer on the sides. When you make candy, you always want the sugar to be dissolved before your liquid comes to a boil. So now I've been stirring it for a little while. You don't have to stir it the whole time, but I like to push the cranberries under the liquid. You'll hear them pop. So now they've cooked down quite a bit. It's not quite ready because you're going to want to see the bottom of your spoon. Now I'm using a flat bottom wooden spoon here. And see, when I drag the bottom of the wooden spoon across, you'll see the bottom of the pan. So it's done. It's very well done at that point. Here I've got stainless steel. I love to use everything I can in stainless steel or glass. So it's a very fine screen. And I'll bet that you could use a food mill. I don't have one, but I bet you could use that as well. You don't want to blend it because you want to get the skins out as much as you can and the seeds. So you want the strainer to be very fine. And the reason I used, you'll see, the reason I used 24 ounces of cranberries is because one bag would only make about 1 cup of jellied cranberry, and I needed a little more. Here I'm just pushing with the back of a regular wooden spoon, pushing cranberries through. Now there's your cranberry. So now we're going to mold it. You want something fairly small. You can use a mold, one of the pretty copper molds. Here you want to use something very slick like glass, and you want the top of the container to be larger than the bottom, or you'll have a fun time getting it out. I don't know that you could get it out. So here I'm just pushing the air. There's air bubbles down the side because it's a little thick. Now I have a paper towel. I'm going to wet it with some cold water, and you don't have to do this. I'm just going to wipe it just looks nicer to me. Just wiping the edge of the glass. It might help actually when you're turning it out not to get those little pieces onto your plate. And I'm going to cover it with a little plastic wrap and push the plastic wrap down onto the cranberry because, like a pudding, if that heat will dry the top out. So by putting the plastic wrap right on it, it'll keep it from drying out. So now just real quickly, I'm using a mug here. That would have been just fine too. But that glass was interesting because it had ridges on the inside. So it'll be kind of pretty when I turn it out. So now here, I'm showing you how I clean up this mess. I try not to put any of those cranberry skins down my disposal. So I try to get that cleaned up right away. I don't call the plumbers often now that I don't use my disposal for everything, because we have a lot of trees outside, and I think trees roots get into the pipes and collect stuff. So I try not to use my Actually, it was my plumber who said, try not to use your disposal as much as you can. If you have to, do it, but be careful. And I haven't called him, so that worked. Now I'm using an orange to decorate my plate because there's orange in it. If you had pineapple in it, you could use some pineapple. So here I'm just going to slice my orange thin just to lay it around the plate. Oh, and by the way, you want to keep that cranberry sauce in the fridge for like 3 hours or 4 hours or at least. So I sharpened this knife, and I'm going to show you how I did that later in the video. So now I'm using this little butter knife just to go down the side and get a little air down there, just like you would if you were opening up a can of cranberry. A can, you might pop a hole, poke a hole in the bottom, get the air in there. You can't do that with a glass. So there you go. See the ridges? Thought that would be cool. You can lay it down on the side like a can of cranberry. My nephew won't eat anything but canned jellied cranberry. So see if he eats this. So here I've sharpened a knife using a steel. And that's the steel. I'm pointing out that little metal part at the bottom. That keeps the blade from hitting your finger, your hand when you're sharpening. It's like a sword that has that thing that protects your hand. So now I'm going to show you the edge. This is my carving knife. It's really a nice little knife. I've had it since 1977. So when you sharpen, you want the knife to be really at an edge. I mean, laying very angulated down toward the steel. And just bring it on either side of the steel. And you hold your hand, as I say, very relaxed. I have my thumb, actually my hand is on the blade of the knife to get a really good firm grip. You want to be able to control that knife. Okay, so just keep the angle very flat toward the steel. See? And bring it down on both sides, and I occasionally will turn the steel. I think it's time for a new steel. I've actually had this steel since 1977 too. Here I'm wiping it off. I don't think you need to do that. I'm used to wiping off the blade because when I sharpen on a stone, you use oil. And you want to wipe that off. So here I'm showing you a couple of pictures of some other items that you'll see on my YouTube channel. Strawberry sauce. Those are blueberries and the nut cookies. So subscribe if you like, and I'll see you soon. Thank you again for watching. Bye.